The details. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Saturday is set to host a group of African leaders who have traveled to Russia on a self-styled peace mission the day after they went to Ukraine. The African leaders then traveled to St. Petersburg on Saturday to meet with Putin, who is attending a business forum in Russia's second largest city. After their closed-door talks, the African leaders held a news conference alongside Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The African peace mission comes as Ukraine launched a counter-offensive to dislodge the Kremlin's forces from occupied areas using Western-supplied advanced weapons in attacks in several sections of more than 1,000-kilometer front line. Following the attack on Kiev, the Ukrainian Air Force said it had shot down 12 missiles, including 6 hypersonic ones. Meanwhile, Russia on Saturday said it had destroyed 3 drones targeting an oil refinery in the southern border region of Bryansk as Ukraine pursues its counteroffensive against Russian forces. Addressing a press conference in Kiev for African leaders participating in the African initiative to reach a settlement for the Russian-Ukrainian crisis, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli asserted that the crisis affected the African continent and its peoples. Details.
On behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry started a visit to Ukraine as part of the delegations of the Joint African Initiative to help in settling the Russian-Ukrainian crisis. The initiative includes presidents of South Africa, Senegal, Comoros Islands, Uganda and Zambia, as well as representatives from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Egypt. The African delegation representing the Joint African Initiative held talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to review the key features of the initiative. In a press conference, Prime Minister said Egypt supports settling disputes with peaceful solutions. He said the Russian-Ukrainian crisis has affected the African continent and its people. Prime Minister also added that the African citizen was affected by the crisis in their daily life as they felt shortages in many areas, especially related to food security, fertilizers, especially that Russia and Ukraine's wheat exports amount to 23% of the whole world's wheat exports. He further noted that African leaders are keen to exert efforts to stop the bloodshed, as well as face consequences affecting Russian, Ukrainian and African people. In addition, Madbouli stated President el-Sisi voiced Egypt's support to efforts exerted to resolve the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, taking into account that it has killed a number of military men and civilians, as well as displaced millions of people. Prime Minister expressed Egypt's deep will to end conflict through reaching a ceasefire and engaging in constructive talk.
Sudanese medics on Saturday said that they are overwhelmed by the hundreds of wounded fleeing Sudan's Darfur region, which has become an increasing focus of global concern more than 2 months into the country's war. Residents of the capital Khartoum, hundreds of kilometers east of Darfur, on Saturday also reported fresh airstrikes, gunfire and explosions there in battles between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces, the RSF. Health authorities also said 17 were killed, among them 5 children in an airstrike southern Khartoum. Health authorities in the capital said that the Mayo region in Yarmouk was also attacked by an airstrike, leaving a number of civilian victims, among them children and elders. The strike also destroyed 25 houses. The Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project said since April 15th, when fighting began, the death toll across the country has topped 2,000 people. American Secretary